thank you guys for coming once again. Thanks also for staying for the Talkback. Opening the floor now to any questions that you guys had about the process or anything at all. Leah?
I guess because this is based off of your own experience, I guess what was the hardest part of accessing your memory and putting it on stage as truthfully as possible?
Honestly, writing my character, because a lot of the time there would be these interactions between other people that I could remember specifically, or like I had other material to work on, to like grapple with for scenes that didn't involve me. But for a lot of the scenes that did involve me, I would always be like, well, I don't really know how exactly I want myself to be depicted in this thing, right? It's a very complicated question. But it was definitely like figuring out what exactly I wanted to portray with my own character and how to do that. Yes?
So I'm sure you've been getting like a ridiculous amount of questions and you're probably sick of answering them. But I was wondering, like, what is something that you haven't been asked that you would like, that you wish people would ask you?
And then answer it.
And then answer it.
What is the question I wish I were asked?
That.
Honestly, the like only question that I could think of that like would actually really truly mean something to me if it were to be asked. Not to say that other questions are relevant, but this question would obviously mean the most. Something along the lines of, okay, so you did this thing. You're talking about a lot of these larger issues. Now, what can I do, having seen this? That being said, I don't really have an answer. I just feel like those are kind of the questions that we tend to shy away from when we come to see theatrical shows. It's so much about entertainment and this kind of like fantastical escapist adventure, right? But I feel like so infrequently when people come to the theater do they actually sit down afterwards and like really truly sit and think, okay, what did this mean not just to me, but what could this mean for everyone that I interact with on a daily basis, were I to like incorporate these lessons that the show has taught me. Okay. Next question. Abby?
Why did you decide to switch the theater around?
Well, I've been always interested in like not just normal audience-actor relations. I started this play with an idea that it would be a one-man show, and so obviously the relationship between like actor and audience is so much more like visceral and real if you're doing a one-man show well. And I wanted to like really bring the audience in with me into the show in the same way that a one-man show I feel like is able to do that. And just sitting in the black box with the seats back there, I was like, this is just gonna get the students to come into this and be like, yeah, I'm sitting at another senior thesis performance, let's wait 60 minutes until I can get back to my homework. Okay. So I decided to do this as a way of like bringing you guys more into the like internal realm of the play. And also just as a general way of disrupting the audience from the beginning, kind of shaking them up and being like, this is not necessarily going to be a traditional 2-act play with an intermission. Leah.
After this question's for Igor.
Yeah.
I guess what was the hardest thing for you portraying an alcoholic? I'm sorry.
Oh, I think. I mean, I haven't had any experience with anyone like that. So, I'm not sure if it was exactly like accurate or anything like that, but I guess I've seen other plays and I've seen films and, with people who are alcoholics, and I think a lot of what I'm getting is from just that, really, and I think the hardest part for me to, I mean, I don't want to like copy that, but I think the hardest part, actually, it's kind of keeping yourself in a place where any little thing will just, kind of like a bomb or something, Like you can just be really quiet and, even nice, but then, one little thing will just make you explode. And I think that was hard for me to get. When I'm in like a neutral state, I guess, to kind of seem as if at any second I can, just get really mad. That was difficult. Of the most things I worked with by myself a lot, kind of just like staggering around my room.
As somebody who grew up with that, and I believe portrays that very well.
I told him last night that considering he didn't know who the man was, and the three of us lived with him, he has an amazing gift because he was very accurate. And I'm Jake's mom, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Other questions?
So what was the writing process like in terms of like how long did it take you to write this play for people who don't know?
Well, probably about like 4 or 5 years. Yeah, I started working on this before coming to Simon's Rock, and that was when it was still a one-man show. Last year, something kind of took it in a different direction, and I was like, you know what, I can open this up to more than just one character. I also didn't really want to have to be like switching back and forth between being like, I'm really mad at you, son, and be like, so, pretty glad I decided to have other people do that with me. And then I was writing. I lost everything that I wrote twice over the process. Randomly found scenes that I thought I had lost for 2 years later on in the process. This semester I came in and started rehearsal with these guys, and I was like, so guys, I don't really have a script to give you. I'm gonna tell you to do some stuff. You're gonna do it. I'll either like it or I won't, and then a script will happen. And I'm very, very thankful that they were comfortable with that, or that even if they weren't, they still did it. Because at the end of it, you know what? I have a 56-page script, and that's insane.
There are also some new lines. There are also some new lines every night.
Yep.
There's some new lines tonight.
Facts. The theater.
And that, I mean, that was. Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah, I definitely, that was like something that I decided to build in. Theater program here teaches a lot of viewpoints. For those of you that don't know, it's kind of what allows all of us to stand up and be like, and make you understand exactly what we say.
It's incredibly contagious.
It is very contagious. But that's also the style that I decided to direct in, because all of the cast members were either in it now or have been in it, and that is also part of what enabled us to have a script that I was able to be like, all right, guys, this is going to change every day. Just accept that. Okay.
Didn't you change a scene around at like 6:45?
Yes, I did. Actually, we did do that. Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Nice, solid.
What happened? No.
Props to us. Well, there was just a scene that, like, because it's set up in this interesting manner, I'm constantly being confronted with the problem of like, wow, someone's back is to half of the audience at any given moment. What do I do about that? And there was one scene in particular that Fiona and I felt our backs were just like blocked off for most of the scene.
Yeah.
And so today, like right before we opened the house, I was like, all right, we're gonna fix this right now. And
It actually worked.
it did. We remembered it, and our backs were not to you guys.
Rock on.
All right, Leanne?
So you wrote it, directed it, produced it, and acted it. All of the things. So how was that for you?
It's pretty crazy. Honestly, I felt pretty comfortable in all areas except for producer. Because that's just one that I've always been like, I don't know. That involves like talking to people and like getting money. That's not for me. But then this time, obviously I had to do it, right? It's my show. So like, probably a week and a half before today, I call my mom and I'm like, hey mom, I need programs and like posters. Yeah. So that was the hardest part of that, just actually like logistically sitting down and being like, all right, Jake, you're designing a poster for the next half hour. Just do it. Get it done, and I did.
Well,
Yeah. Well, it happened. Poster was made. Smell this.
I have a question for Elias. What was your creative process?
My creative process was, how far away from my spine can I get my chest? And how can I breathe while doing that? It was pretty much just that.
Yeah, the draft boys, I called in, they had one rehearsal and that was it. And then I ran them through it one at a time. All right.